Good morning, students. You say your prayer. Thank you. நான் ஒரு நல்ல ஆசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்ல ஆசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்ல ஆசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்து முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். Okay, students, take your social science book and come to page number 61. So we are discussing about the development of industries in India. So unit 6. So in our previous class, we discussed about the industries in ancient and medieval India and how the Indian industries were crushed by the British East India Company. And also we discussed about the beginning of modern industries. So today's class we will discuss about how these modern industries grow. So the growth of modern industries and also the government support. So the industrial growth in India, then the phases of industrial development in India. So from 1952, so contemporary, so present day world, and also we discussed about modernization and self-reliance. Okay, so before going to the class, so just to recall what we discussed in our previous class. So in our previous class, we discussed about India's traditional economy. So it was characterized by a blend of agriculture and handicraft. So some of the foreigners who visited India during the medieval period, so surprised by our handicraft skill. So our Indian people skill. Then we discussed about the traditional craft of India. Then the causes for the decline of Indian industries. So first, the loss of royal patronage, so especially by the arrival of British. So the British, so they conquered our country and transformed the Indian economy into colonial economy. Okay, so they crushed our industries. So they made our country as the just supplier of raw materials and the market for their goods. So in England, industrial revolution started when they captured India. So they used our country as the supplier of raw materials. Then we discussed about the competition of machine-made goods. So because of the machines, so they produce goods in large volume when compared to Indians. So Indians just they use their hand. So used skill, man skill only. So we can't compete with the machine-made goods. Then we discussed about the trading policy of the British. So the British trading policy supported the British goods only. So they imposed heavy duty on Indian goods in Britain, but at the same time the Britain goods were sold in India with the nominal duty. Then we discussed about the deindustrialization process. So the British East India Company and the British government encouraged the British companies rather than the Indian companies. Then we discussed about the beginning of the modern industries. So first the plantation industry, then machine-based industry, then heavy industry. So during the 19th century, so the mid of 19th century, so some of the modern industry began to develop in India. So especially in jute, cotton and steel. So the first industry, so modern industrial sector, so in an organized way established was cotton textile industry in Bombay. So first the modern industrial sector was the cotton textile industry. So it was established in Bombay. Then later it came the jute industry and also followed by steel industries. So India's first iron and steel company was set up at Jamshedpur by Jamshedji Tata. Okay, so we have discussed these things in our previous class. So today's class we will discuss about the growth of these modern industries and also the phase of the industrial development in India. So growth of modern industries. So what helped these modern industries to grow? So first we know the transport facilities developed well. So because of the British, so actually the British, so they helped Indians. So they increased, so they promoted the transport in order to transfer their goods only, but later it was used by the Indians. So when the British gave independence to us, so we used the transport system and communication system. The length of the railways increased from 2,573 km in 1861 to 55,773 km in 1914. So in 1861, the total length of the railway is 2,573 km only. But within 50 years, that is in the year 1914, the length of the railways is 55,773 km. Then opening of the Suez Canal, so which we have discussed in our previous class. So the Suez Canal, so shortened the distance between Europe and India by about 4,830 km. So the opening of the Suez Canal so shortened the distance between Europe and India by about 4,830 km. So this reduced distance so facilitated, so motivated the industrialization in India. As a result of Swadeshi movement, the cotton mills increased from 194 to 273 and jute mills from 36 to 64. So because of the Swadeshi movement, so the cotton mills in India so increased from 194 to 273 industries, and also the jute mills from 36 to 64. So the British had consolidated the power in India and thereby attracted large number of foreign entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurs means a person who makes money by starting or running a business just by taking risk. So because so the British so had consolidated the power in India. So before the arrival of the British, so India was ruled by many local rulers. So they had quarrel with each other. But now the British had consolidated. So the British had their control all over India. So it attracted large number of foreign entrepreneurs and capital, that is money, so particularly from England. So foreign capitals were attracted to Indian industry as it held the prospect of high profit. So why the foreigners so interested in investing in India? So because of the chance of high profit. Because labor was extremely cheap, so raw materials were cheaply available, and India and its neighbors provided a ready market. So because of the population. So there are lot of advantages. So that's why the foreign capitalist so interested in investing in India. Okay, va? Next, Confederation of Indian Industry, CII. So confederation, so an organization of a business so that have joined together in order to help each other. So confederation means an organization. So started by a group of companies or business enterprises so that have joined together in order to help each other. So the Confederation of Indian Industry is a business association in India. So Confederation of Indian Industry, so CII. It is a business association in India. It is a non-government and it is not for profit but industry-led and industry-managed organization. So CII is a non-government. So it is a private. So it is not for profit. So this industry was not for profit. This organization is not for profit. So led by industries and the industry-managed organization. It was founded in 1985. See, in book they mentioned as 1985, but the real year is 1885. So it was just a printing mistake. It has over 9,000 members. So from the private as well as public sector. So public sector means so it was run by both government and also private individual participation is there. So it has over 9,000 members from the private as well as public sectors, including small and medium enterprises. So small and medium companies and also multinational corporations. So MNCs. So the Confederation of Indian Industry is a business association in India. CII is a non-government, not-for-profit, industry-led and industry-managed organization. It was founded in 1895. It has over 9,000 members. So from the private as well as public sector, so which include so small and medium companies and also the multinational corporations. Then the industrial growth in India. To realize the dream of development of industries, that is after independence, to realize the dream of development of industries, Indian government adopted certain industrial policies and 5-year plan. Yes, after achieving independence, in order to so develop our industries. So because the modern world, so how we consider a country is developed country. If there is more industries in that country, means that country is considered as a developed country. So industry is more important for the development of any country. Okay. So to realize the dream of development of industries, Indian government adopted certain industrial policies and 5-year plans. Yeah. One of the most important innovation. So innovation means it's a new method or new technique. So in the industrial field after independence has been the introduction of the 5-year plan and the direct participation in industry by the government as expressed in the industrial policy resolution of 1948. So one of the most important thing in the industrial field after independence was the introduction of 5-year plan and the direct participation in industry by the government, so which was expressed in the industrial policy resolution of 1948. So in order to realize the dream of development of industries, Indian government adopted some industrial policies and 5-year plans. The most important innovation, so the new method in the industrial field after independence was the introduction of the 5-year plan and the direct participation in industries by the government. So this resolution delineated the role of the state in the industrial development both as an entrepreneur and as an authority. This resolution makes strong the role of the state in the industrial development, so both as well as an entrepreneur, as the runner of an industry and also as an authority. As per the industrial policy resolution of 1956, so industries can be classified into 3 categories. So industrial policy of 1948 directed the government to run some industries, to run some heavy industries. At the same time it make sure the participation of government. So 1956 industrial policy resolution, so the industries were classified into 3 categories. So Schedule A, Schedule B and Schedule C. So Schedule A, only the government can handle these industries. So Schedule A industries can be handled only by the government. So these industries include atomic energy, electrical, iron and steel and others. Then Schedule B, so this comprises road and sea transportation, machine tools, aluminium, chemicals including plastic and fertilizers, ferroalloys. So ferroalloys means, ferric means iron. So the things made of, so the metal made with the help of iron, and certain types of mining. Then Schedule C, under this category the remaining industries were left to the private sector. So as per the industrial revolution of 1956, industries can be classified into 3 categories. So first Schedule A, so only the government can handle these industries, so which includes atomic energy, electrical, iron and steel and others. So most of the heavy industries were come under Schedule A. Then Schedule B, so this comprise road and sea transportation, machine tools, aluminium, chemicals including plastic and fertilizers, ferroalloys and certain type of mining. Then Schedule C, under this category the remaining industries, so which were not included in Schedule A and Schedule B, so were left to the private sector. So the phases of industrial development in India. So first industrial development during 1950s to 1965. So the phases of, the timing of industrial development. So in India, so industrial development during 1950 to 1965. During this phase, a majority of consumer goods were produced in India. So during 1950 to 1965, a majority of consumer goods were produced in India. So consumers, so those who buy things. The industrial sector was underdeveloped with weak infrastructure. So the industrial sector was underdeveloped because during that time only we got independence. So India's economy was very poor. So industrial sector was underdeveloped with weak infrastructure. So none is ready to invest high in India. So infrastructure, so basic system and services that are necessary for a country to run smoothly. For example, transport, water, so other facilities. So technical skills were in short supply. So the first 3 5-year plans were very important because their aim was to build a strong industrial base in independent India. So the first 3 5-year plan was very important because the aim of this first 5-year plan, so first 3 5-year plan was to build a strong industrial base in independent India. So these plans mostly focused on the development of capital goods sector. So these 5-year plans, so first 3 5-year plan, so mostly focused on the development of capital goods sector. As a result, this phase, so this time, so witnessed a strong acceleration in the growth rate of production. So because of the government, so 5-year plan, so which focused on the development of capital goods. So this phase witnessed a strong acceleration in the growth rate of production. So industrial development during 1950 to 1965. During this phase, a majority of consumer goods were produced in India. The industrial sector was underdeveloped with a weak infrastructure, so technical skills were in short supply. So the first 3 5-year plan were very important because their aim was to build a strong industrial base in independent India. So this plan mostly gave importance to the capital goods sector. So because of this phase witnessed a strong acceleration, a strong and fast growth in the production rate. Then industrial development during 1965 to 1980. As the first 3 5-year plan mostly focused on the development of capital goods, the consumer goods sector was neglected. As the first 3 5-year plan mostly focused on the development of capital goods sector, the consumer goods sector was neglected. So the consumer goods sector is the backbone of rural economy. So that is village economy. So the consumer goods is the backbone of the rural economy. As a result, there was a fall in the growth rate of industrial production. So because of this, there was a fall in the growth rate of industrial production. So this period is marked as the period of structural retrogression. So this period 1965 to 1980 is marked as the period of structural retrogression. So retrogression means returning to old ideas. So industrial development during 1965 to 1980. The first 3 5-year plan mostly focused on the development of capital goods sector. So capital means money. So these 5-year plans, so first 3 5-year plans, so gave importance to the sector, so which require more money. So which gave or which require more money. So the consumer goods sector was neglected. So consumer goods means, consumer means, so we are the consumers. So whenever you go and buy a thing from a shop means, then you will become a consumer. So the consumer goods sector was neglected. So the consumer goods sector is the backbone of rural economy. So because of this, there was a fall in the growth rate of industrial production. So because of the consumer goods sector was neglected, so there was a fall in the growth rate of industrial production. So this period, that is from 1965 to 1980, is marked as the period of structural retrogression, that is returning to old ideas. Then industrial development during 1980 to 1991. So the period of the 1980s can be considered as the period of industrial recovery. So already 1965 to 1980. So the period is marked as the structural retrogression, so returning to old idea. So but the year 1980, so considered as the period of industrial recovery. So this period witnessed a quite healthy industrial growth. So this period witnessed quite a healthy industrial growth. So from 1965 to 1980, there is a stagnant. So there is a returning to old idea because the first 3 5-year plans gave importance to capital goods only, so not for the consumer goods. So because of this, so there is a lack in the development process. But the year 1980, so the considers the period of industrial recovery. So this period witnessed a healthy industrial growth. Then industrial development post 1991 reforms. So industrial development post means after. It's after 1991 reforms. So the year 1991 ushered a new era of the economic liberalization. Yes, the year 1991 is an important period in Indian history, Indian economy. So because in the year 1991 only, so Indian government had allowed the foreign companies to invest in India. So till 1991, so no foreign company can invest directly in India. So if they want to invest in India means, so they have to collaborate with the Indian company. So directly they can't invest in India. But so in the year 1991, so they introduced some of the reforms. So which allowed the foreign companies. So India took major decision to improve the performance of the industrial sector. So the 10th and the 11th 5-year plan witnessed a high growth rate of industrial production. So because of the change in India's economic policy, so the 10th and 11th 5-year plan witnessed a high growth rate of industrial production. So the abolition of industrial licensing, so dismantling of price control. So dismantling means, so end-to-end system gradually. So price control. So the price of the goods was controlled by the government. So now the government, so after 1991, so have liberalized this policy. And the dilution, so that is weakening of the reservation of small scale industries and the abolition of monopoly law enabled the Indian industry to develop. So the abolition of industrial licensing, so dismantling of price control, dilution of reservation of small scale industries, and virtual abolition of monopoly law. So monopoly means so complete control over some trade. So virtual abolition of monopoly law enabled Indian industry to develop. So the new policy welcomes foreign investment. So after this only, so many foreign companies so began to invest in India directly. So the year 1991 ushered a new era of the economic liberalization. India took major decision to improve the performance of industrial sector. So the 10th and the 11th 5-year plan witnessed a high growth rate of industrial production. So the abolition of industrial licensing, dismantling of price control, so dilution, so that is weakening of the reservation of small scale industries, and virtual abolition. So virtual means you can see directly. So you can see directly. So a view. So the virtual abolition of monopoly law enabled the Indian industry to develop. So the new policy welcomes the foreign investment. Modernization. So India has now a large varieties of industries producing goods of varied nature, which shows a high degree of modernization. So India has now a large varieties of industries, so that produce goods of varied nature, which shows a high degree of modernization. So some modern industries have really grown and they are competing effectively with the outside world. So some modern industries in India have really grown well and they are competing effectively with the outside world. So this has reduced our dependence greatly on foreign experts and technology. So some of the industries in India have really grown and they are competing effectively with the outside world. So this reduced our dependence greatly on foreign experts and technologies. On the contrary, India is exporting trained personnel to relatively less developed countries. So India is exporting trained persons to less developed countries. So India has now a large varieties of industries producing goods of varied nature, which shows a high degree of modernization. So we have modernization industries, which produce goods. So some modern industries have really grown and they are competing. Competing effectively with the outside world. So this has reduced our dependence greatly on foreign experts and technologies. On the contrary, India is exporting trained personnel to relatively less developed country. So next, information technology. So the term information technology includes computer and communication technology along with software. So the term information technology includes computer and communication technology along with the software line. Along with the three sector. So that is primary and secondary and tertiary sectors. A fourth sector, so that is information related industries, has emerged. So along with the three sector model of industries such as primary, secondary and tertiary, a fourth sector, so known as information related industries, has emerged. The knowledge economy knows the automation of labor intensive manufacturing and service activities, as well as growth in new service industries such as healthcare, distance education, software production and multimedia entertainment. So the term information technology includes computer and communication technology along with the software. So along with the three sector model of primary, secondary and tertiary industries, a fourth sector, information related industries, has emerged now. The knowledge economy shows the automation of labor intensive manufacturing and service activities such as growth in new industries, so that is healthcare, distance education, software production and multimedia entertainment. So India has now a variety of modern industries, especially in the field of information technology. Then self-reliance. That is the positive aspect of industrial growth is the attainment of the goal of self-reliance. So self-reliance means we can have our things. So we don't depend on other countries for some product. So self-reliance. So achieving our things. We have achieved self-reliance in machinery, plant and other equipment. Today, the bulk of the equipment required for industrial and infrastructure development is produced within the country. So another positive aspect of industrial growth is the attainment of the goal of self-reliance. So we have achieved self-reliance in machinery, plant and other equipment. So today, the bulk of the equipment required for industrial and infrastructure development is produced within the country. So we need not to depend on other countries. So we have the equipments. So for the industrial and infrastructure development. So we can produce these things. So we can produce the infrastructure. So the equipment required for the industrial and infrastructures within our country. So this was achieved so only because of the government policies, so industrial policy and also 5-year plan. So the self-reliance is achieved. Then the Indian road network has become one of the largest in the world. So the Indian roadway. So the Indian roadways has become one of the largest network in the world. So government effort to the expansion of network of national highways, state highways and major district roads, which in turn has directly contributed to the industrial growth. So the Indian road network has become one of the largest network in the world. So the government efforts led to the expansion of the network of roadways. So maybe a national highway or state highway and even district roads. So they are developed well. So which helped which helped the industrial growth. Then in case of power, so as India needs power to drive its growth engine, it has triggered a noteworthy improvement of the availability of energy. So India needs power. So because to run the machines, we need energy, we need power. So to drive its growth engine, India has triggered a noteworthy improvement in the power availability, in the availability of energy. After almost 7 decades of independence, India has emerged as the third largest producer of electricity in Asia. So after independence, so after 70 years of independence, India has emerged as the third largest producer of electricity in India. Okay, so self-reliance. So we have achieved some things. So what we need. So even though we depend on foreign countries for some other products, so like petroleum and other things, other energy sectors, we have some bulky equipments so required for industrial and infrastructure. We have developed our roadways, we have improved our energy availability. So almost after 70 years of independence, India has emerged as the third largest producer of electricity in Asia. So last conclusion, so industrialization is an important component of economic growth. So because so a country is considered as a developed country when there is more industries. So because industries only convert the finished products, that is the raw materials, into finished product. So only we can use the finished product, so not the raw materials. So will you use just cotton? We use cloth now. So we convert the cotton into cloth. So where? In industries only. So likewise, take sugar cane. So it is a raw material. So where it can be converted into sugar and other products in industries. So industrialization is an important component of economic growth. India's industrial expansion over the planned period presents a mixed picture. So India's industrial expansion over the planned period shows a mixed picture. So compared to the pre-independence level, industrial growth during the 5-year plan period is phenomenal. So compared to the pre-independence level, industrial growth so during the 5-year plan is very important. So today, so India is achieving a lot of things. So because our government 5-year plan other economic policies only. So which help us to improve a lot. So we have to go a long way. So in order to become a developed country, so we have to go a long way. Okay students, we have completed the lesson. So we have discussed how the industries so developed in India. So how the industries were crushed during the British period, and how after independence, so we slowly achieved. So how we slowly developed our industries. So from 1950 to present day, so how the industries were developed. So we have seen in today's class. So take your book. So take page number 64. Textbook reading. You read the heading modernization. Then homework, take page number 66. 7th Roman letter. Detailed question. Third one. Explain industry development after 1991 reforms. So take page number 62 and 64. So 62. So last heading D. Industry development post 1991 reforms. So that fully. So it will end in page number 64. So the last point is the new policy welcomes foreign investment. So just a short question only. but they asked it in detail. Yeah, so write it and read it well. Yeah, so I will send you the answers. So the book back questions in PDF format. So complete it. Thank you, students. Have a nice day.